Mario has a lot of different sports games that you've heard of, such as Super Mario Strikers, Mario Tennis, and Mario Golf. However, today we'll be discussing one sports game not many have heard of, Mario Sports Mix. In this video, we'll be covering everything from the basics of people new to this underrated gem, to further trivia including missable details and cut content, that even if you're a big fan, there'll be something new for you. So sit back and grab a snack, or listen to this while you get on with your assignments, as we dive into the ultimate Mario Sports Mix Iceberg. Four sports. There are four sports you can play, which are basketball, volleyball, hockey, and dodgeball, which is my favourite and the one I played the most growing up. These sports have an exhibition mode and a tournament mode that consists of 3 cups, which are mushroom, flower, and star. Party mode. In party mode there are 4 games you can play, which are Feed PE, where you must collect fruit and throw it into Pete the Piranha's mouth. All the fruit are worth different amounts, and whoever scores the most wins. Feed PE incorporates key elements from basketball. How Many Hustle, where you and 3 other players must catch the ball matching your colour before it hits the ground. The timing of the ball landing is to the beat of the music. How Many Hustle incorporates key elements from volleyball. Bomb Dodge, where you must keep dodging bombs until the timer runs out. Once the timer runs out, whoever has the most health wins. Bomb Dodge incorporates mechanics from dodgeball. And finally Smash Skate, where you must knock other players off the stage to gain points. If a player falls off the stage, they lose points. When the timer runs out, whoever has the most points wins. Smash Skate incorporates mechanics from hockey. Additionally, Smash Skate is the only party game that does not include any of the in-game stages, and instead has unique ones. Unlockable characters. The unlockable characters are from other Square Enix games, the majority of which are Final Fantasy characters. These characters are Ninja, White Mage, Black Mage, Moogle, Cacta, and Slime, who's from Dragon Quest. Special Shot. Each playable character has their own special move that is known as a special shot. Most special shots were created specifically for Mario Sports Mix, making them unique. One of my favourites is Waluigi's special shot, where he uses 4 robot arms, then throws 3 decoy balls or pucks before throwing the real one. Some special shots are references to other games that the character's been in. For example, for Luigi's special shot, he uses the Poltergust 3000, which is a reference to the Poltergust 3000 used in Luigi's Mansion to suck up ghosts. Another example is Bowser Jr., who uses paintbrush from Super Mario Sunshine to splash paint that stuns the enemy players. My final example is for Cacta, who has a special shot called 1000 Needles, which has Cacta shoot out multiple needles to stun enemies, and his own teammates if they're not careful, for a short period of time. This special shot is a reference to Cacta's special move from the same name in Final Fantasy, that also allows Cacta to shoot a flurry of needles. Alternate variations. Some characters have different variations, such as colour swaps and different outfits that can be unlocked. These variations include Yoshi has a blue, yellow and pink colour variation, Toad has a blue, yellow and green colour variation, Peach and Daisy have tennis outfits, Ninja has a shadow ninja variation, White Mage has a pure white mage variation, Black Mage has a magic red variation, and Slime has a metal slime variation and a she slime variation. Gold. In tournament mode, when you complete the Star Cup on hard difficulty, the sport you've just beaten with the Star Cup will go gold on the menu screen. For example, if you complete Dodgeball on hard difficulty, the dodgeball Luigi's holding on the menu screen will go gold. Behemoth. Behemoth is originally from the Final Fantasy franchise, where it's an enemy that appears either late into the game or as a boss. It's also the first boss you encounter in Mario Sports Mix, after beating all the Star Cups at normal difficulty. This fight makes use a combined skill set from all the sports. To attack, use different items and meteors to throw at Behemoth. In addition, your team can perform an exclusive special shot move to deal a high amount of damage. Recognisable faces. In the background of different stages you can see different characters spectating, the most common being Mii's, Koopa Troopas, Birdos, Toads, and Pinatas. There are also some uncommon audience members, such as in Wario's Factory you can see Shy Guys, in Ghoulish Galley you can see Dry Bones, in Western Junction you can see Monty Moles, in Luigi's Mansion you can see Booze, and on the stage Sherbet Sea in Smash Skate you can see the iconic penguins. Alternate paths. Once a player plays through a tournament they can replay it to access different paths. When winning a round and meeting specific conditions, you have the option to branch off to a different path. In doing so you would carry out a mission instead of playing a normal match. These missions can vary from normal matches with special conditions, such as you only use red shells or playing a party mode minigame. After completing a mission, the path splits off again and allows the player to take different routes. These routes can lead to more paths and events, or even being redirected back to the main tournament. These alternate paths can also take the player to the hidden final, which is like a normal match with an extremely hard condition, such as be the first to 20 points but your opponent has a 17-point lead. If the player does beat the hidden final, they're able to win the tournament cup. Cheat code. There's a cheat code to unlock everything in the game. To do it, you need to have a Wii nunchuck plugged into the Wii remote. First, you need to hover your cursor over a Mii file and do not move it for the entire process. Next, on the nunchuck, hold down the C button. While doing so, press 1 3 times, then let go of the C button. After that, hold down the Z button, and while doing so, press 1 4 times, then let go of the Z button. Finally, hold down both the C and Z button, and while doing so, press 1 5 times, then let go of the C and Z button. If you've done it correctly, you'll see 4 crystals on your Mii file. Sports Mix. Sports Mix mode is a tournament-based mode that uses all the sports. To unlock Sports Mix, you must complete all 4 Star Cups on normal difficulty and beat Behemoth. Playing through a cup in this mode, each match has a random sport selected along with the CPUs being on Expert difficulty. When you beat the Star Cup, you face against the Behemoth King, who is more difficult and has extra health compared to Behemoth. Once Sports Mode is completed, the background of the game goes from blue to a peach colour. For predecessor, before Mario Sports Mix, Square Enix developed Mario Hoops 3 on 3, also known as Mario Slam Basketball in Europe, a basketball-focused game that released on the DS in 2006. It used primarily touchscreen controls. Mario Hoops 3 on 3 included some really cool Mario characters, including Boo, Birdo and Dixie Kong, who's rarely a playable character in Mario games, so it's nice to see her being included. In addition to that point, this game is the first Mario game to include Final Fantasy characters, and includes the same ones that are in Mario Sports Mix. I have not played this game yet, but I've heard it's a fun, underrated game, although quite rage-inducing. As a successor, Mario Sports Mix effectively expands on Mario Hoops 3 on 3 by adding more content, including 3 additional sports and extra modes. However, Square Enix cut the character roster down from 21 to 18, which means Mario Sports Mix missed out on including some really cool characters. Sudden Death Mode. In Dodgeball, if both teams have the same number of remaining players when the timer ends, then the match will enter Sudden Death Mode. In Sudden Death Mode, the first player to take damage causes their team to lose the set. It's not possible for this match to end in a draw. What kind of hockey? In the game, hockey is initially depicted as ice hockey, but in the majority of stages it's presented as roller hockey, with the exception being Mario Stadium. This is also true in Party Mode, as for Smash Skate, the only stage as ice hockey is Sherbet Sea. Overpowered character. Cactuar is an extremely overpowered character, due to it being the only character that has a stat amount over the limit. More specifically, Cactuar has a speed limit of 6 out of 5. It is a disadvantage to his speed, however, as if the player has to change their direction quickly, it will cause Cactuar to skid. The reason why Cactuar has this seemingly out of place speed is because in the Final Fantasy series, it's extremely fast and hard to hit in battle. Mii commercials. The American Mario Sports Mix commercials had a fictional news channel hosted by live-action Miis called Meekle and Mimi. In these commercials, they typically show Meekle and Mimi commentating over clips of Mario Sports Mix. Sometimes these ads show an in-game Mii of Meekle playing some of the sports and bragging about how good he is at them, while Mimi seems fed up with his bragging. They are also in the Mario Sports Mix press conference, where Meekle takes a role as a reporter while Mimi acts as a news anchor. In the press conference, Meekle interviews Mario and asks him questions about how the game came to be, and questions on behalf of fans such as is it hard balancing your sports training with princess saving, in which we find out Princess Peach has not been kidnapped while Mario is training. In fact, it had been her longest streak without being kidnapped. I recommend giving the press conference a watch, as you'll get to see Mario talk in full sentences, which is mind-blowing. He's also quite sassy, which makes for a funny experience. Pete Piranha's contributions. On the stage Daisy Garden for the basketball mode, instead of there being basketball hoops, there are 2 Pete Piranhas acting as basketball hoops, where players can shoot the basketball into their mouths. His contribution to being a team player does not stop there, however. When playing dodgeball, if he passes the ball to Pete Piranha, he'll eat it and spit out a sludge ball. Music. The game's amazing soundtrack was composed by 2 Final Fantasy composers, Masauchi Soken, who composed the music for Final Fantasy XIV, and Kumi Tanoka, who composed the music for the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles series. Backstabbing ghosts. In the Luigi's Mansion stage for volleyball mode, the ghosts can assist the player by hitting the ball over the net. Additionally, in the basketball mode, when the lights go out, there are ghosts floating around the stage that can take the ball off the player and pass them to the members of the opposing team. Chocobo theme. In Harmony Hustle, you can play a stage as the Chocobo theme, and depending on the level, there will be different variation. Level 1 is Chocobo Pop, Level 2 is Chocobo Rhythm, and Level 3 is Chocobo Beat. The original version of this theme originates in Final Fantasy II, and it's the theme for the Chocobo, which is a yellow bird that can be mounted like a horse. On the Bowser Jr. Boulevard stage for any of these levels, there's an 8-bit walk animation with Chocobo on the ground. Age rating logo. On the game's cover in all regions, the Mario Sports Mix logo takes up a lot of space in the bottom left hand corner of the cover. To avoid obstructing it, the age rating logo is moved to the bottom right hand corner. This is one of the only Wii covers to have the age rating logo moved. Bingo win. In volleyball on the stage Bowser Jr. Boulevard, if you hit the volleyball on the square, it will show a picture of Bowser Jr. If you get a line of Bowser Jr.'s not included diagonally, then you'll be awarded 2 points. If you hit all the opponent's squares making them all show Bowser Jr., then you win the set. Falling off DK Dock. In Dodgeball on the DK Dock stage, you can knock opponents into the water with the ball, and if you do, they're out straight away. Red Mage reference. Black Mage has an unlockable costume called Magic Red, which is a red variation of his current costume. This design, including the additional buckle on his hat, is a reference to another mage class in the Final Fantasy series called Red Mage. Rosalina is inspired by White Mage. People suspect Rosalina's design could be inspired by White Mage's design. There are a couple of reasons as to why. Both have fringes covering their right eye, they have silver crowns, they have a similar chest pendant, they have big dangly earrings, they both have blue eyes, they are wearing heels, and they both have magical abilities. Furthermore, this design of White Mage appeared in Mario Hoops 3 on 3, which was released just over a year before Super Mario Galaxy, meaning there was enough time for inspiration to take effect. In addition, people speculate that Rosalina was not on Mario Sports Mix due to her similarities with White Mage. I do understand this point and does have some credibility as they have very similar abilities and roles. Moreover, White Mage has an alternative outfit in Mario Sports Mix, with her hair in that variation alone eerily matching the colour of Rosalina's hair. However, I do think that another plausible reason could be that she was just not a contender for spin-off games at that point. From Super Mario Galaxy up to the recent Mario Sports Mix, she was rarely in spin-off games. Her main spin-off appearance was in Mario Kart Wii. She only started to appear in spin-offs and in more mainline games in the Wii U era, starting with Super Mario 3D World. Of course, this is just speculation, so let me know if you think this is plausible. I personally think there's some weight to it due to their similarities in looks and abilities. Old logo. The old Mario Sports Mix logo has more flat colours with the word Sports Mix being in black, which is silver in the new one. Furthermore, the line under Sports Mix is not present. Internal project name. Mario Sports Mix internal project name was Mario Sports Wii. Floating hockey stick. Black Mage's introduction animation for hockey has a floating hockey stick next to him. Due to its outplaced nature and other characters not having hockey sticks in the introduction animations, it's most likely a glitch. Bahamut. In the game files, there's a model for Bahamut, where there are only 2 animations for him, which are N08_dummy and N08_idol. Bahamut is a summon. A summon is a creature called into battle from the Final Fantasy franchise. Although to obtain him, you need to beat him in battle. Old website. To promote Mario Sports Mix, a dedicated website was created to share information on the upcoming game. The website details information on the different sports, party mode, online mode, characters and stages, and it explains the conditions that need to be met to find a hidden route on each sport and cup. It also showcases the trailer and commercials for the game. However, there is more to the website than that. There are also puzzles and games that upon completion awarded users with the ability to download digital posters and pendants. Bosses for each sport. There would be unique bosses for each of the sports. For volleyball, Behemoth would be the allocated boss, as Behemoth is stored as S20VO.bin, with VO standing for volleyball. For basketball, Bahamut would have been chosen, as there's a floating rock stage where he could have acted as a basketball hoop. For dodgeball, you would have had Ifrid as the boss on a volcanic stage. For ice hockey, it's unknown who the boss would have been. The stage itself, however, is in the files, with an icy surface and a rock with a hole in the middle. Early dodgeball health meter design. For dodgeball, the health meter was originally going to resemble the health meter from Super Mario Galaxy. It was going to be split into 4 sections, which is more simplistic than the current dodgeball health design, which depending on the person can be a positive thing or a negative thing. Unused Smash Skate intros. There are unused previews of the old versions of the Smash Skate stages. These intros are for the stages Fire Mountain, Rowdy Raft, and Sherbet Sea. The UK version is more polite. When the game is being translated into English, both Europe and America have worded a lot of the stuff differently. The British English translation is more formal and says please a lot, while the American English translation is more informal. For example, when selecting the stage, the American version of the game will ask the player, select a stage, while the European version will ask, please select a court. Another example is the option for wanting to change a character's colour or costume. The American version will say change colour, while the European version will say variation. Final example I will share is for adjusting the CPU's difficulty. In the American version it says select the CPU difficulty level, while the European version says please select the CPU difficulty level. Even though I think please being added is nice and respectful, you could definitely argue that it was not a necessary addition. Bowser replaced Daisy. On the screen where you choose the number of players you want, it shows Mario characters to represent the number of players. Originally for player 4, it was meant to be Daisy, however she was replaced by Bowser. This could have happened as Bowser is more distinct, which would help separate the characters on the screen. Regardless, I think Daisy should be there instead. Hashtag justice for Daisy. Unused Super Mario Galaxy stage. And for the unlock bin file, there's an XML file, which is a markup language that stores and transmits data that references to an unused stage named Super Mario Galaxy, showing a Super Mario Galaxy themed stage was considered. I think this would be a really cool idea, and I wonder which galaxy they would have picked. I'm leaning towards Good Egg Galaxy. Unused Final Fantasy stage. Also in the unlock bin file, there is data that references an unused stage named Crystal Grande. This could be referencing the Great Crystal, which is a location in the land of Ivalice from Final Fantasy XII. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching the Mario Sports Mix Iceberg. I plan on making more Iceberg content, but in the meantime I have other Iceberg videos you can check out. I hope you have a wonderful day or night.